Yo, there's Willie Mo Jr. here, the host of the Love You More show. I got a challenge for you, and I want you to be a part of it. It's absolutely free. We're about to take our finances, our family, and our fitness to a whole nother level. I want you to do this challenge with me, and it's gonna revolutionize and challenge every part of your life to take you to the next level. So family, do me a favor, go to loveyoumore.com/F3, okay? 7-day challenge that's gonna revolutionize your life. I guarantee it. Go now. It's time for the episode. Flatout.
Next on the Love You More show.
I knew about the woman who he had been dating. I knew about, them going through their ebbs and flows and then him dating other people. Like, I'd watched him play with people. And I was like, you're not about to play with me. No, it's a no for me. I was like, if you want to be together, we can be together because you date people to get to know them. But you know me. So what we dating for? I was like, what you mean it ain't that? We ain't had sex. We in church 4 days a week. This man got a house.
Come on.
He got a car. He got a good jobs.
He checking all
got
the
a
boxes.
good family.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It makes all of this
on paper.
And God was like, nah, this ain't it. In 2019, I started having symptoms. And I hope it's not too graphic, but like having blood in my urine, crazy migraines. And it happened once in 2016. And when I went to the doctors, they were like, oh, you have a UTI. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm thinking because y'all have my chart, everything, all my family history is in my chart. So if there was something else, you would have looked for it. I just so happened to be on the phone with my mom at the time. My mom said, tell them to run a full renal panel on you. Tell them you need to know your BUN, your creatinine, your GFR, all of it.
How does mom know?
She's an RN. So my mom, I grew up, she's been a nurse for my entire life. She was nursing when she was pregnant with me. And so the doctor's like, oh, I spun your blood, da-da-da-da. She like, tell him put it in your chart if you're not gonna do it. And so he's like, all right, I'll send you back to the lab. Wait 30 minutes, go back into his office. He opens the screen, calls in a nurse, and says, put her in a bus, her kidneys are failing. And it's like, in that instant, everything else made sense. That did not make sense. It made me realize God was never keeping something from me. He was always keeping me for something.
I was married for a real long time, and I often look at those vows, and I remember rereading the vows. So those of you who are married, I want to encourage you to go back and look at those vows. They got to a part that really, really shook me. I remember looking at my marriage video, and they were like, for richer or for poor. When they said for richer and for poor, I was like, don't the Bible say speak those things that are not as though they were, that the power of life and death is in the tongue? And so when I did the vow, I was like, for richer and for, well, life still hit, and it was really, really tough. But it got to another part that I didn't have to endure. But my next guest, she had to endure it, right? All while being married in sickness and in health. And so today, to those of you who are in relationships, you have to be aware that there's some ebbs and flows in life that you cannot forecast. And when they do come, you have to be strong enough to lean on God's word. And I believe that I got about 3 or 4 people, if that's you, in the comments, just put the deuce up. So it's like, peace, I'm going to endure, all right? Now, before you meet this guest, I'm going to give you an opportunity to do what I always ask you to do. Come on, say it with me. Subscribe, okay? If you have not become a part of the Love You More family, which I've so candidly coined the Flatout family, because I say flat out, right? You need to. So I'm going to wait for 2 seconds. Thank you. All right. Family, listen, it is time now to hang out with one of the most phenomenal speakers. She is truly a jewel. She's worked with the likes of Creflo Dollar, myself, and so many others. Shout out to our friends at Radio 1. But she's a voice and a name that you are definitely going to need to know in the upcoming years. Of course, if you're on TikTok, you see her all the time. She blowing up. If you on Instagram, you see her all the time. She blowing up. The one and only, I'm going to say Sharde Presley now, Shardae Orr, because I know her daddy when she was a Presley. Hey, Sharde, how you doing?
You are hilarious.
Yeah. I knew both of y'all.
You know both of me. And you know my daddy.
Yes, indeed.
You know where I come from.
Yeah, man. I'm so proud of you. Let me just say that. Full transparency, I'm riding, and then I get on my treadmill, because treadmill is where God meet me. I think
really?
You got to know it. Like, My after workout little treadmill, no music, no nothing. I'm just like, okay, God, download it.
Wow.
If he don't download it, I go to his Bible, I put it in my ear, and then I'm like, there you go. Now you talking.
Mm-hmm.
And literally you came in my heart and I was like, Shardae, I want to really have a great conversation with you because you're kind of newlywed. How long you been married now?
It will be 5 years in December.
Come on, 5 years. Make some noise.
That's
for
half a
5
decade.
years.
That's a big deal. I mean, it's still considered new.
Yeah, that is huge. So on the Love You More show, Shardae, we have this thing that we like to call an icebreaker. Now, this icebreaker is a little different than traditional icebreakers because it's not a corny joke that you have to wait like 5 seconds to get.
Right.
It's actually music. Now, you knew me and my relationship, and we tried counseling. And this is kind of what happened. Check this out.
So wifey started counseling and she thought it would be a good idea for me to come to counseling. Man, don't nobody really want to do this. Cause I know she'd been telling this woman all my business. I walk into counseling. Dang. I didn't know her counsel was this fine. She been telling all my business. I walk in. Hey, ladies. Oh, I was at the wrong spot and I thank you for joining us. Truly my honor. Willie Mo. Nice to meet you. My honor. This is my counselor, April. So nice to meet her. Wifey like, so glad you can make it, darling. It's truly my honor. You look amazing. You do too. Energy in the room a little tense. Wife done told my business. So let's talk this out. In front of her, damn. I'm like, okay. You ready? I am. You know, whatever you want me to do, I'm with it. Are you gonna tell the truth? I promise I'm gonna tell the truth. You worth it. Her eyes lit up like a Christmas tree when I told her she was worth it, child.
Time waits for no man. But if I could turn back the hands of time, I would do you better. I just want you to know the love I have for you is like the clockwork. It never stops. This is Lag Out.
Now I am not a mind reader, but I can tell you're lonely, overlooked. But what's funny is I put a ring on your finger. We both said I do, but we both know the truth. And lately we've been feeling single, cause we don't take the time to love each other right. Preachers say we need communication. Tonight let's speak some love language. Oh, first off, since we said I do, in the sight of God we can do what we do. Second off, we don't need no phone. We don't waste time too long. So let me love you like clockwork. Tick tock, like clockwork. Steady going like clockwork. Tick tock, like clockwork.
The name of the song is Clockwork. It now features Q Parker from 112 that's coming out in, well, probably out when you watch it, but make sure you go check it out. You know, Shardae, in that particular song, it just talks about literally saying I do and the ebbs and flows and the ups and downs that come with marriage. And for us, you know, intimacy usually connects us back again. But as a newlywed, a woman who had been in the industry for a long time thinking, God, when you gonna send my beau ass? I'm so tired of broke ass, play ass. I'm tired of all of them. Like, what is it like for you now? What have you learned the most about yourself being married?
Ooh, I think what I've learned the most about myself being married is the person who's truly for you will show you the good and bad parts of yourself and love you through it anyway.
Yeah.
And I think that I've learned that I have the capacity to love a person past what I think is what I need in the moment.
Yeah.
I think when I found my husband, the thing is I wasn't looking for him at all.
Oh, wow.
And what we think we need, a lot of times the list that we have and what we want in a man is not what is going to carry you through to 5 years, because that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I feel like my husband's the man that's going to carry me into my forever. You know what I mean? So I think what I learned about myself is at times what I thought I needed the most really did not matter when the rubber met the road.
That's so good. I remember 2018, I'm at World Changers and I see Shardae. I'm at church and and, you know, it's during them times. I'm married and, you know, I think all the ladies like, you know, you see a good dude, let me know. And I'm like, Shardae, you a catch. And then I go meet Shardae and I see this guy, he's over there and he's looking at me talk to Shardae. Like, hey, what's that doing? Like, oh, that's my boss and this, that, and another. I was like, Shardae, that's the I think y'all need to. Like, Willie, that's my, because she's so politically correct. That's my boss. I don't do that. I'm like, that Negro right there like you. Ain't that something like that?
You said it. You definitely said that. I will say, I think it was a little earlier than that. Because 2018,
You was on the pop?
I was at Comcast by then.
Okay.
This was like 2016.
Yeah, I remember he was looking like, I'm like, nah, man, I ain't, this is my sister, but I just seen them eyes like, he like you. I don't care what y'all say. Something going on in this woodpile.
I'm not in the woodpile.
So who had to make a decision? Did you have to like stop working there? Y'all work together? How did that work?
So it's funny because I feel like I've never told this story on a platform this large before.
Yeah.
And I feel like when me and my husband realized that we liked each other, it was during a season where he had tried to hook me up with his friend.
Oh, wow.
That didn't work out. But his friend, this was a red flag in the first place. The friend wouldn't go out with me by himself.
Come on, flag.
And I said, something ain't right about that.
Yeah.
Why this man can't? He was like, he said he want to be, he don't want to be seen out in public with you because y'all aren't officially. I said, okay, whatever. So he set up like a group situation. So it's like 6 of us hanging out. We doing game nights. We going to Six Flags. And my husband is one of the people who's there. But I'm supposed to be getting to know the friend.
Yeah.
But the whole time we're all hanging out, me and him is kikiing about the friend.
Yeah.
Because I knew the friend was not it for me.
Yeah.
Immediately. But I think on the tail end of us hanging out, I was like, I think I like this man.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget when I got promoted to outreach program manager or something like that. I got moved to a different building.
Got it. I knew it was something like a...
I got moved to a different building and he would reach out for the most arbitrary reasons. He'd be like, yo, you be watching Game of Thrones? And I was like, yeah, it's pretty cool. And he'd be like, yeah, I just wanted to see if you've been watching it because I really like that. And I'd be like, do you just need a reason to talk to me? Because you can talk to me without being weird.
Yeah.
And I think from there, he wanted to start dating. And I told him no. I said, you can't date me.
Why?
Because I've watched him date before.
You're terrible.
I did. Because we were friends at that point. I feel like we had become very good friends. I'm talking... I knew about the woman who he had been dating. I knew about, them going through their ebbs and flows and then him dating other people. Like I'd watched him play with people. Yeah. And I was like, you're not about to play with me.
No, it's a no.
It's a no for me. I was like, if you want to be together, we can be together because you date people to get to know them.
Yeah.
But you know me. So what are we dating for?
So do you think it's okay to have that type of stance? Like because I like the stance. Like we know each other. What we getting to know each other for? We've been working together for years now.
Right. I think that it's okay to have whatever standard you have set if you believe that someone should be able to meet it. Yeah. And I think in that season I said, ain't no way that you can't meet the standard that I'm setting because you know me. Yeah. So what other intel do you need via dating to figure out if you want to be together? You saying you want to date to me says you want to put me in the rotation that I've seen you have. And I'm not going to be a part of that.
You're not going to be no rotation.
I'm not going to be a part of that.
So what changed your mind?
So Willie, I think that for me, we ended up finally going out on a date because I liked the man. I'm keeping honest. Like it was a certain point where it was like, okay, I like this person. I want to spend time with them. Like all of these different things. And so I feel like when men pursue what they want, you gonna wear a woman down eventually.
You gotta wear her down.
I got wore down. After being pursued, making plans, I'll never forget. One day he was like, oh, I got tickets to the lights at the Botanical Gardens.
Botanical Gardens, okay.
He was like, I got tickets. And he sent the tickets over and I was like, I'm not going out with you.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, well, you could have the tickets then, da-da-da. And I took a friend of mine. I took my roommate.
Oh my God, you said no and took the tickets?
Yes. And then, but he kept doing stuff like that. He was persistent. And then the first time that we went on a date, we went to a Hawks game.
That's
at
a good
State Farm Arena.
What were your seats?
They were in the 100 section. They weren't on the floor.
No, I'm saying, I just, you know, I'm just trying to get the visual. That's my little place.
I remember exactly what I had on. It was like a kimono. It was like a tan tank top, some jeans, some heels.
So you was hiding the goods.
I was cute, but
you was hiding the goods.
You know? Okay. And so I feel like we went on a date. We dated for a little while. And I'll never forget, during that season, I felt like if he's dating me, I know he's dating other people. And I went to God and I was like, God, what are we doing?
Come on.
What are we doing? And I think one thing that I have to mention, you know, and I don't want to get deep because you know, everybody don't believe in like signs and miracles and wonders and all of those.
Deep is okay right
Okay,
here. 'Cause,
okay,
you know,
okay.
I like when you be Shardae.
Listen.
Come on.
We got to take it back to when I was his assistant. The year was 2014. I moved here August of 2014. And August of 2013, I had gotten engaged to someone who was in the music industry. And our lives were just intertwined just because we were in similar industries. We knew a lot of the same people. And God basically told us not to get married, like separately. I had just really found the Lord, started speaking in tongues, different things like that. Like really like, okay, I got the Holy Spirit,
yeah,
you
with
know?
the good Lord.
And when I heard that, it was just like, it didn't make sense in 2013 when we got engaged in August, and in October, God was like, nah, that's not it.
Hey family, Willie Mo Jr. here. Listen, I'm sorry that I interrupted this. You know what? I'm not sorry. You have not subscribed. Okay, I need you to go ahead and subscribe real quick because I know you want to get back to this little good part that Shardae talking about. You do it? Cool. Back to the show. Go Shardae. Tell them.
I was like, what you mean it ain't that? We ain't had sex. We in church 4 days a week.
We love you.
This man got a house.
Come on.
He got a car. He got a good job.
He checking all the boxes.
He got a good family.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It makes all
On
of this.
paper.
Okay. And God was like, nah, this ain't it.
Oh, I got so many questions, but go ahead.
And when God told me this ain't it, I said, I don't really hear from the Lord yet. I just started speaking in tongues. I'm not saved enough to hear from God.
I'm not saved enough to trust my Holy Ghost
Listen,
yet.
nah, I ain't saved enough. And so I said, I'm going to keep going. So we put deposits on the venue. And then...
I had no idea.
Yes. Right before it was holiday season, he was on tour with someone in Europe. He calls me and he says, God said that I'm not in the right place in my life to get married. And I was like, well, what do you want me to do with that? And he was like, well, maybe we could just go back to like courting and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And he was like, well, let me pray on it. And he came back. I'll never forget. We sat in my mom's driveway for 3 hours crying. And he was like, we can't do it. We can't get married. And the day after that, I sat in my mom's basement. I deleted my Instagram because back then you couldn't deactivate it. You just had to throw the whole thing away.
Yeah.
Deactivated my Facebook. And I cried out to God because I was like, I done all the things. And it still didn't work out for me. And so fast forward. Oh, wait, you want to ask questions before we fast forward? Ask the questions,
I do. I
Willie.
just got to ask this little part right quick.
Yes.
So your mom and them kind of probably know him,
Yes.
like him. Everybody has this expectation. What was the pressure like of now having to present to the world that, all right, guys, so this is not going to work? Like, did you all feel any pressure with family? Because a lot of times when you dating, you got this family involved. Like, how did you navigate that part? Because they still asking, where all such and such? And you like, I'm triggered.
Because they not here.
Yeah.
I ran, Willie. That is part of the reason how I ended up in Atlanta in 2014.
Oh, so you just slid on up out of DC.
I said, I can't. I said, Lord, I can't. Like, it was too, we met in February. We got engaged in August. To be broken up by like October, November was embarrassing. It was just like, how do I face people who in August was like, girl, you don't even know this man. You ain't spent 4 seasons with him. Da, 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 da. It was like, I can't handle the pressure. You know what I mean? I remember my dad coming into my room, and you done met my dad.
Yeah, hey, it's my type of guy.
He
OG Willie Mo Jr.
No, he literally is an OG. And I remember him coming in, and I'm just crying. And he like, what do I need to do? Like, can we get back the deposits?
Yeah.
Can we get the deposit? Do I need to go see him? Did he do something? Yeah. And I'm just like, don't worry about it, Daddy. I'm not getting married. Like, but I ran. Like, that's part of the reason how I ended up in Atlanta. I was like, Lord, help me. And I felt like he was saying, move. Like, move. I'm sending you somewhere else. And I kept hearing Atlanta in the spirit. And at this point, I'm like, I didn't listen the last time to the point where he had the man break up with me because I clearly wasn't going to listen.
Yeah. So you start working and you meet this guy. Do you like him immediately? Did you notice him or just like, it's just, because I think you like his assistant or something.
I'm his assistant. So the craziest part is I got a job at the church. I did not apply for the job at the church.
Okay.
I got a call from HR. They were like, hey, we got your resume. I had sent it to a friend to get like a TV job.
Over there?
No, not at the church. Like she was working with Turner and different things. I was like, how did y'all even get my resume? Like, I don't want to work in no church. But long story short, did this interview, got a second interview. They called me back within 2 hours and said, can you be here in 2 weeks? I packed everything I could fit in my Chevy Malibu and I drove down to Atlanta. And when I met my husband, it was during orientation. He tells this story better than I do because it makes him angry to this day. But he was standing at checkpoint. So if you've ever been to our church and you come to the admin building, there's this area called checkpoint.
Mm-hmm.
It's a security checkpoint.
Yes.
He was standing in front of it. I was rushing in from lunch for orientation and he's like, hi, my name is da-da-da. I didn't even hear the name. Because when I was interviewing, the man on the website was a tall African-looking man.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Kurt at the time.
Yeah.
My husband wasn't even on the website yet. So when he's talking, I'm like, excuse me, I have to get back to orientation. And he's like, okay. After orientation, they take me back to my suite or whatever where he sits. They open the door and like, oh, and this will be your supervisor. And I'm like, ooh, Jesus. And if the look on his face was like, yeah.
I'm the boss.
The one who you brushed off. I'm your boss.
Yeah.
And I think I tell people, because I've made this mistake in the past with saying like, oh, like I wasn't into my husband when I first met him. And it wasn't because I didn't think he was handsome. I think my husband is very handsome. Fine man of God. But he was not my type. I was into guys who were tall. I was into guys who were kind of like husky, so to speak.
Yeah.
Guys who were athletic, guys who were loud.
Yeah. He's real cool.
Yeah, I was in entertainment. I wanted somebody who was as much of a social butterfly as me. Like if I'm working a room, you work in the room. Type of.
This your list.
This my list. Okay, and when we saw he didn't hit any of those top 3 things, it was like, oh, you nice looking, but it was, you know. And he would say the same thing about me. Like I would have never picked you out of a lineup at a club or in a grocery store. Like you wouldn't have been who I would have approached. So
soon as I seen y'all, I literally said, y'all perfect. This look good to me. You know, my goofy self, I'm gonna say what the heck's on my mind. And now I get an opportunity to see this beautiful couple like really serve each other. And just as a brother and as a friend, I am so proud. Just from a distance, of course, I don't get an opportunity to get into the minutia of what you all do. Mm-hmm. But just from a distance, I'm so proud of the woman that you become as a wife.
Wow.
Like, you know, because I know your dad, I know your mom, I know what they built. I know how, you know, your daddy got a real unique upbringing and he love his daughter. I mimic how he loves you with my daughter because he don't play about you. Mm-hmm. He done uprooted his whole life to be, you know, with his daughter. And I'm willing to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. You know, however, just in the last few years, you know, you say I do, you're having this marital bliss, and then these unique health challenges start. Mm-hmm. If you don't mind, can you share a little bit of how the vow in sickness and in health came true for you?
Sure. Me and my husband, you know, we kind of talked about just the whole back and forth with dating. And we were literally on and off again for 2 years. Sometimes because I was doing things that showed that I wasn't quite ready. He was doing things that showed that he wasn't quite ready. And we got to come back to that. Because one of them, you were present for.
You know, I start self-soothing with different drugs. I was just like,
you're hilarious. Yeah. But in 2019, I started having symptoms. And I hope it's not too graphic, but like having blood in my urine, crazy migraines. And it happened once in 2016. And when I went to the doctors, they were like, oh, you have a UTI. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm thinking because y'all have my chart, everything, all my family history is in my chart. So if there was something else, you would have looked for it. Mm-hmm. 2019, the same types of things are happening. And go to the doctors and they say, it's an appointment. The doctor says, you have a UTI. I'm seeing home with some antibiotics. I just happened to be on the phone with my mom at the time. My mom said, tell them to run a full renal panel on you. Tell them you need to know your BUN, your creatinine, your GFR, all of it.
How does mom know?
She's an RN. So my mom, I grew up, she's been a nurse for my entire life. She was nursing when she was pregnant with me. Yeah. And so the doctor's like, oh, I spun your blood, da 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 da. She like, tell him put it in your chart if he's not gonna do it. And so he's like, all right, I'll send you back to the lab. Wait 30 minutes, go back into his office. He opens the screen, calls in a nurse, and says, put her in a bus. Her kidneys are failing. And all I could think was, but you were going to send me home with antibiotics. And so I'm on the way to the hospital, and I'm texting Emmett, because at this point, this is the season where we're together. And I'm like, hey, I need you to meet me at the hospital, da 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 da. And he's like, what's going on? He's like, I'm playing Madden with Corey. I was like, boy, I'm headed to the hospital. You need to come on, okay?
I'm playing Madden with Corey. What's wrong?
Right, what's wrong? And so he ends up coming to the hospital, end up having to stay the night. They run all these tests, and the doctor comes in, and he says, you're in stage 2 renal failure. And I said, well, what does that mean? He was like, you have polycystic kidney disease. At this point, both of your kidneys are completely covered in cysts. He says, we're going to go ahead and refer you to a nephrologist, and they'll take it from there. I immediately just start crying because it's hereditary. My dad had it. I saw what he went through with it. And I look at Emmett and I say, if you're going to leave me, like I know we've been back and forth for a little while now. If you are going to leave me now. I don't want to have to deal with our back and forth going into whatever this is. I need somebody who is going to stand by my side through it. And he was like, I got you. I was like, okay. And literally 3-4 weeks later, he proposed.
Oh, he got you then. Come on.
He let me. He was like, I said, I got you. And then we went right into COVID in 2020. We only had 50 people at our wedding. You were one of them.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And, you know, people were, you know, freaked out about the mask and all the things because I wore a mask at the end of my wedding. And they were like, well, why she got a mask? And I'm like, people didn't know, like I was immunocompromised. And we got married in 2020. Going into 2021, I ended up, you know, starting my journey on the transplant list. So it was just a lot for newlyweds.
So you are a newlywed, you're on a transplant list. I'm sure it's a lot of fear going on because, you know, when you start talking about kidneys, like a lot, they don't come back like that.
No.
I mean, I believe God can do anything. He can do some miracle and be like, oh my God, you know, you see it on TV.
Right.
But usually it's like dialysis or it's a slow decline or that's forever.
Decline.
So when you're going through these emotions, do you look back and say, I could have said that better, or I could have been a little bit more gentle with these areas? What type of person were you when you were waiting on this transplant list and like literally, I mean, in all honesty, fighting for your life?
Oh, I was an unhealed person. I was a broken person. I think that when you are unhealed and you're broken, you scar people without trying because you feel out of control in your own life. And so where you should be able to look at other people and show up for them, it's almost like you make everything about yourself. And that's the type of person I was. I felt like if my life was slipping away, then I needed to do as much as possible, as quickly as possible. I needed to be all of the things that I could before I would be nothing. And so, you know, I lashed out a lot. I argued a lot. I was self-seeking in friendships unintentionally a lot out of a space of not wanting to be vulnerable and let my guard down. And I think I'm that type of person in general where it's kind of like, I'm not a complainer. I don't want to put my burden on anybody, but it's like that's amplified in a broken season. So I think I was that kind of person.
Yeah. How does a husband respond to a woman like that and make her feel comfortable? Like, were there things that he did is like, kind of when you look back, like, man, he kind of made me feel stupid, or is it just like a clash of the titans?
I think both ways. I think one way that he really helped, that may have ended up being a clash of the titans, is he made me remain as independent as possible for as long as possible. Like, he would take inventory of, nah, you able to do that. You could do this. You know what I mean? Like, we could walk the neighborhood. You could make it down the street and back right now. Like, you good. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
type of a thing. But then there were also times where, you know, I couldn't cook, I couldn't clean, and he would do the things and not complain about it.
Yeah.
And I think that him showing up like that for me, looking back, is like, wow, like you really loved me through that. I think one of the things that people don't think about when you talk about renal failure is how many hormones your kidneys produce or tell your brain to produce as your blood is being processed and it's seeing it doesn't have them. And for men and women, some of those things attribute to your libido. So I think about like early on in our marriage, there were times where I didn't have a desire to be intimate. You know what I mean? And it was something where we could have an honest conversation about it, but me also be able to say like, hey, like I don't got it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And work through those things. And I feel like had we not been friends first, that wouldn't have been possible.
So when you look at the boxes, safety, security, soothing, and what's the fourth S? I forgot what it was. It seemed like all of those boxes are checked in there because you all had a season of an opportunity to
be friends
and serve. And you done seen him through all 4 seasons. A few of them.
Have I?
A little too many few. Like, what about Keisha? I used to have to send her roses and this and that. Man, because I ain't gonna lie, I remember you giving me so many excuses. What you saying somebody? I'm like, I don't care what nobody say. That man right there, that man like you. And you like him. So y'all can stop pretending in front of me. But I want to be able to like go down this street a little bit. Mm-hmm. You on this transplant list. Do they call and tell you that they find a kidney? Because now you have the kidney. But do they call you? Is it somebody on the outside? Like, how do you get here?
On the other side of it, or you mean like the process?
Like, what was the process of like? Do they call you? Because I've only seen movies. They like, we got a kidney. You got to be here in 20 minutes.
Oh my god!
And you got to fly. Wasn't it like a Christian movie or something? Y'all didn't see that movie? I think it was a kidney. They was like, we got a kidney for you, and you got to hurry up and get there. You got to take a helicopter quickly because you got 24 hours or the kidney gone. They gonna go to the next person.
You are hilarious.
Y'all didn't see the movie?
Okay,
I'm the only one.
Parts of that are true. Parts of that are true. So you're on the list. You build time on the list. There's a lot of like quantifiers. So people's antibodies got to match. Your blood type got to match. Your BMI has to be relatively close. You have to have had like the same vaccines. Like there's a lot that goes into it. But basically, once you get on the list and you have all your information in the system, and that's hard in and of itself, they do every test that they can do before you get on this list. You can't have cancer. You can't have had like, it runs the gamut. They're like, we don't want to waste an organ on a person, which I feel like is so, you know, it hurts a little bit. If you might be sick.
If you might finna die anyway, they like, we gonna get it to somebody who healthy.
Oh my gosh.
That is so mean.
It is.
I'm
so
like, no.
mean. But that's how you get on the list. On the other side of it, most donors are deceased, unfortunately. They call them cadavers. So when you're on the list, you're really waiting for somebody to die. Mm-hmm. A car accident, you know, somebody to pass away of natural causes, but maybe their organs are still functioning long enough for them to get it on ice.
Cadavers.
And get it to you. Mm-hmm. So when you get a call, it's usually that, and you have 2 hours, not 20 minutes.
I thought it was like fast though. I was right.
Fast.
They was like, hey, you got 2 hours to get here because we got to get it.
It is very fast. But that wasn't my story.
So what was your story?
I had a live donor.
And who was the live donor?
The live donor ended up being my husband. My husband.
Every time.
Ooh, stop before you make me cry.
Y'all, this my sister, bro. Like, I was praying so much. And boy, when I found out that boy could give a kidney, whew.
Yeah.
It was her husband the whole time.
And that was a journey. It was a journey.
So how did they find out his kidney could work? Like, because Emmy was playing the game.
You are hilarious. Yeah. The funny thing is, my husband will tell you, when I got on the list, his first response was, test everybody else. I'm going to be last. Just test everybody else. If nobody else could do it, I'm going to do it. But test everybody else first. And so we did. We tested my brother. We tested, you know, friends, cousins, different people trying to get this kidney. And we really went into overdrive, I would say, around 2022. because that's when I was right at like 18% functioning. And once you get to like 10 is when they port your arm.
Start down.
And they say, we want to prep you so you ready.
Mm-hmm.
And so, not me about to cry. You be having people in here crying.
All the time. Me too. I'm over here tripping.
Lord, okay. I'm about to share something that I've never shared publicly. In 2023, it was the first time that we tested my husband. He started the process. He was getting tested. And this had to have been around like April, May. And the doctors were calling him back because one thing about being a donor is they talk to you. They don't talk to the person that you're donating to.
Mm-hmm.
And so my husband, they were saying like, oh, these levels were off, this or that, the third. Right now, we wouldn't be able to do anything. We need to run more tests on you before we can green light anything. Mm-hmm. In May of 2023, I ended up getting pregnant. And transplant team, nephrologist, urologist, everybody was shocked because with my kidney function, it should have physically not been possible for that to happen. Mm-hmm. And so everyone's scrambling like, well, we don't know what to do, but let us run down what the potential outcomes of this could be. And then you can make a decision. They said, your kidneys are probably going to kick in and carry you through this pregnancy just because that's what the body's trained to do. But when you give birth, there's a possibility that we will have to port your chest and do dialysis. There's a possibility that you could die. You could lose blood. At that point, I was literally giving myself shots so that my body could make blood. And they were saying, this is very dangerous. Mm-hmm. We're not going to tell you not to proceed, but we're going to tell you what will happen if you do proceed. Mm-hmm. Me and my husband's response was, we're going to see for ourselves. What that did was it made me completely inactive on the list because I'm not available.
Because you pray.
Right. So even if you call me, you can't operate on me. So they made me inactive. So I go inactive and I end up miscarrying the top of September when we're like headed to France on vacation. And it is like the most traumatizing season of my life. And I'm so angry with God in that moment because it's like, why do I keep getting hit with blows that I never asked for? Why am I teaching Bible study and preaching to people and praying for people and serving in every capacity imaginable, and you're not showing up for me? Why is this happening? Why would you allow me to get pregnant when it was a miracle in the first place and then not see it through? Why would you do that to me? And so literally, for those who watch me on social media from probably like September of 2023 till about April of 2024, baby, I went everywhere I could think of going.
I do. I remember. I
went to Saint Tropez. I went to Paris. I went to Dubai. I went to Mexico. Anything that I could think of to do, I said, I'm going to do it because if I'm going to end up on dialysis, then I want to see some stuff. If I got to be chained to a machine 3 times a week for who knows how long, my dad was on dialysis for 10 years. I want to see everything there is to see. And I barely stepped foot into my church during the end of that year. I threw my hands up.
Wow.
I don't even know what the question was. But
No, it's perfect. I think it's a great pause because I feel like somebody on the other end, on the other side of the camera is thinking to themselves, girl, that's me. Mm-hmm. Like I've literally done everything that's humanly, I did all of the spiritual colloquialisms that have been put in place. I prayed, I fasted, the miracles here. I've been to church, I tithe. The pastor said that if I do this will be protected. And then God has the final say over culture on how he wants to do it.
Yeah.
And so I totally understand the vendetta and the issue. And I believe that you're not the only one.
Yeah.
I always like to make it personal. There have been times in my life where I'm like, yo, I'm doing the right thing, but the wrong thing keep happening.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've said it on every guest that I've taped. Like, it just take me back to James 1, 2 through 4. Like,
Wow.
count it all joy when you face trials of many kind. Like, we got to let that perseverance has its perfect work so we don't be lacking anything. But you don't be want to hear that stuff when it's popping.
No, you don't.
It's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
You gonna do me like that? I could have been, okay.
Right.
What's the defining moment when you say, all right, God, I'm tired. I want to come back.
It wasn't a defining moment. It was defining people. There were people who would not allow me to continue to stray. One of those people was Pastor Taffy Dollar,
Over.
who at the top of 2024, you know, we had a conversation about leading the women's ministry. And I was like, I ain't even been coming
I don't care about
to
that.
church real good.
You even going to church real good.
You know,
Not real
since
good.
August. And
Not real good.
not real good. And she had me preach. And it was just, it was a defining moment for me. I ended up going to a women's conference, 2024, March of 2024. Another defining person, Dr. Anita Phillips. I didn't go to half of the sessions because I wasn't feeling good. At that point, I want to say my kidney function may have been around like 10. And I was to the point where like at 5 o'clock every day I went to sleep. Like I just had nothing. Like I had no energy. And I ended up coming to this night session and she picked me out of the audience. And she said, I got to send you the clip. She was like, sister. Sister. And she just started prophesying about what God said he was going to do. And the end of her prophecy, she said, every light is going to be green. Every light is going to be green. And she said, and you don't have to rush. She was like, because when you get to it, it's going to be green. Mm-hmm. And I left that conference and I went home. And I think it was the first time, because I feel like sometimes we're taught like, don't question God, don't be angry with God. But it was the first time I went home and I said, Lord, I'm angry at you. I can't believe you did me like that. I can't believe you've been doing me like this for all of these years. I've been engaged twice. Now I'm married in the marriage I'm in. I can't even be the wife that I thought I was going to be because I'm less than this and less than that. My friendship's falling apart. I'm mad at you. Fix it. Like what is happening? Are you who you say you are? These are the things I'm asking because it's like, at this point, I'm angry, but I'm also like, why you had this lady prophesy to me?
Like, you bothering me through this lady.
Right, through multiple people.
Right.
Because I'm running, okay? Yeah. And you sending people to bring me back. Yeah. And I'm good on you. Yeah. So let's have a conversation. And I will never forget, as sure as I'm sitting in this seat right now, in my closet, when I got very honest with God, very honest, I literally heard the voice of God. He said, not by might, not by power, but by my spirit, I will do it. And I got up from that place. And it's funny because people talk about how some get deliverance in an instant and some don't. You got to kind of walk it out. That was the one time in my life where I felt it like fall. Like all the stuff that I had been angry about, all of the delays and the grief over what I thought would be happening in my life at the time. Because at that point, my husband, said I needed to quit my job. So I had quit my job. So I didn't have a title to attach my worth to.
Woo.
And for the first time, it didn't matter. Nothing mattered. And it was the first time where I said, God, and even if you don't, I just want you. If we could have what we had in this closet where you can sit with me through it, that's enough for me. And I think it was that mindset shift that really changed the situation. Mm-hmm. And I think my husband during the time was in this very protective mode where it was like, if you don't want to serve, you don't got to serve. If you don't want to work, you ain't got to work. Whatever you need to do to be healthy for as long as possible, that's what we're going to do. If you want to do some work, fine. But it need to be something you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so that's what that season looked like.
That was a good season.
It was a good season.
I like the fact that the scripture rings true. That when you counted out joy, trials of many times, at the end of that scripture at 4, it says that you will lack nothing.
Nothing.
And what I think I heard you say was in that moment, it was like, nothing else mattered.
Nothing
Like
else
I ain't lacking nothing. I'm
mattered.
solid. Everything gonna be
I'm
good.
solid. And after that is very interesting. I finally got back active on the list. And I'm gonna let you know right now, it take a little while to get back active. Like even after you inactive, they run all the same tests they ran.
Oh, you still got to run it all the way
The
back
whole
like the
thing.
beginning.
Right. In case something didn't happen. I don't know. But it took a while to get back active. But I got back active and they ended up testing my husband. And do you know everything that wasn't lining up or the numbers and the this and the that, all of a sudden they made sense.
And his self, he probably like, oh God, I gotta go give you one of these kidneys.
Yeah, he found out before I did.
Yeah.
He found out.
So
he
you
was
get
a
the
match.
news and he like, but so they told him first and he has to tell
They
you.
told him. He took me to dinner. He recorded this. I look a mess in said video, but he took me to dinner, which ain't out of the norm. We used to go to date nights all the time. We still do date night all the time. And he gave me a card. And I was like, I love a little card, you know.
I love a little card.
I love a little card. Send me some words, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm reading the card, and then he got a little handwriting, and his handwriting is horrible.
He's a doctor.
Emmett write like a doctor.
Yeah.
And I'm reading it, and he's just talking about how, you know, I love you no matter what. You know, I know things, you know, our marriage has shifted and this and that and the third, you know, but I want you to know I'm always going to be here. And nobody will ever have your back the way I have your back. And nobody loves you how I love you, especially because, you know, I just want to let you know I was approved to be your donor. And I lost it. We were at knife. I lost it. Because it was just like, it was a weight lifted. But it was also a reminder to me that God is not a man that he would lie. We were talking earlier about like me starting at the church, and I was coming around to the story about like God really showing me that my husband was my husband. And I never forget, I had a friend, Jennifer, we prayed because after, you know, all of the failed things, I said, I don't want to date no ninjas no more. Like
we going to the other side.
I'm gonna be no, not the other side.
I didn't know she was going to not the other side. I'm like, you know, maybe somebody from Dubai or something.
You know what?
One of them slick hair guys.
You are hilarious.
No disrespect to my brothers in Dubai. I hang out over there in
Oh my
Abu Dhabi
gosh.
sometime.
I was just like, I'm gonna be a rich auntie.
Oh,
Like, I don't gotta be
auntie.
married. I don't gotta be married. I'm done. I done been through the ringer. It's not for me. That's where I was at.
Nah.
And I remember her, she said, it's a scripture that say you can ask God for a sign if you want a sign. She from DC too. And I said, where is that? And so she took me to the word, and she was the scripture about if you put the wool out and the wool is wet. And he did it like 3 times.
Mhm.
And I said, well, my God,
Let me ask.
let me ask for a sign. And so she said, well, write it. Don't tell me. Don't tell me because I don't want.
That's how she talks.
Yes. Hi, bitch. I don't want people to think. Da, 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 da. So I said, okay. So I went to God. I wrote in my journal. It's this pink journal. It got cool save chicks and Boston gold on the front of it. Bought it the first day I moved here.
That was your movement too, cool Sage.
It was.
Yeah.
And I said, Lord, when a man is my husband, I will know because he will bring me sunflowers. He ain't going to send them to me. He ain't going to mail them to me. They're not going to come through ProFlowers. Like, he going to bring me sunflowers. That's how I will know that that's the man you sent to be my husband.
So why you pick sunflower?
I don't know.
You was like,
I'm right, 'cause
this is not a coincidence.
It's a very, like, it's not a flower you going to go
Yeah,
in
just
Publix
like,
and be like, let me
I'm
get
gonna her some
sunflowers.
sunflowers for
You
her.
know, people will get daisies,
Roses.
peonies.
Yeah.
You know, people just don't be picking up sunflowers, and they only in a certain season. So the odds.
You wrote a sunflower. That is so Shardae.
And then
You know you were sabotaging yourself, it seemed like.
It probably.
He was like, you know, I don't want somebody so bad. I'm going to pick the flower
That ain't
nobody
gonna
going to pick.
No. And I stood in the kitchen. We prayed over my son. That was like the end of 2014. And, you know, went on about my life. right before I ended up being moved to the other office when I got promoted. It was Assistance Day. I was my husband's assistant. Correction. 2 days before Assistance Day. I come into my office, and the way that the office is situated, there's a door, and inside of the room is my desk, and then inside of the room is another door to another room. Does that make sense?
Yes.
His room is the room behind the door.
Oh, yeah. So you right here, like secretary room.
Secretary, right.
Yeah.
Then over to my right is a conference room.
Okay.
I come in, and on the ledge of my desk, huge bouquet of sunflowers. My eye literally twitches. I peek in the conference room. He's in a meeting with somebody. And I sit at my desk, and I literally am just like, who brought these? And at the time, I had started dating somebody. So I'm like, maybe. Because his last name started with the I was like, maybe this man that came up here and brought me some sunflowers. I was wrong. He comes out of the conference room, the person leaves. I said, hey, who brought me these sunflowers? He's like, oh, I got them for you for Assistance Day. And I said,
he brought them to you.
He brought them to me. And I said, Assistance Day is until Wednesday or Thursday, whatever it was 2 days later. And he was like, what was on my calendar for today? And I said, well, I put the reminder on your calendar for today to remind you to get something for Assistance Day, which is in 2 days. Because I'm a proactive assistant, me, myself.
He's just like, let's get you ahead of the game.
Let's get you ahead of the game.
Yeah.
And his response, I lie to you not, is, well, I hope they last till then because I'm not getting you nothing else.
Go, Emmett, go.
No. And in that moment, I was like, nah, Lord, not this one. This is a joke. Somebody heard me. Somebody read my journal.
Yeah.
Ain't no way.
He picked sunflower.
Sitting at that dinner, it all made sense. It made sense why I couldn't marry my college sweetheart. It made sense why I couldn't marry a man who checked every single thing on my list, but the things that potentially mattered to my future. It made sense sitting at that table, reading that, hearing my husband say, I am going to give you a gift that is going to keep you alive. When we got to June of 2024, my dad was saying, let them port your arm. Let them, because I was at like 8% by then. Let them port your arm. I was like, nah. No, I'm not going to let them port my arm. And it was like I was weirdly in faith, but not intentionally. Like I wasn't doing it to be weird and spooky and deep. I just felt like, nah, I ain't got to do that.
It's a no, all green lights.
I ain't got to do that. And so when he said it, it was just like, Lord, thank you. Thank you. And not just for showing up for me in this moment, but for showing up for me in 2013 when I wanted to get married and you sat me in my mama's basement and said, no, this ain't him. It's not the one. For when I wanted to marry my college sweetheart because he was in the league. Mm-hmm. And he kept cheating. I said, Lord, I could change him. He just need to get to 30. When he gets to 30, he's not going to be cheating like this no more because he's going to be 30. Yeah. And God was like, you're worth more than that. And it's like, in that instant, everything else made sense. That did not make sense. It made me realize God was never keeping something from me. He was always keeping me for something that was worthy of me.
Hey, wait, quick question. Are you an organization that really focuses on family, whether that's children, relationships, or even reconciliation and finances for family? Anything family. If you are an organization who needs to be in front of an audience that actually cares about what you care about, this is that platform. We'd love to partner with you. All you got to do is click the little email right here or just go to the description in this YouTube, and I just believe by faith that we may get an opportunity to partner. All right? Now back to the show. Flat out.
And that's what I learned that night.
Man, y'all make some noise for that real quick. Can we get a little love in here? Oh, my God. So, here's the thing. Shardae, you have played the background for so many great people. It's a beautiful story that many of us know about one of the greatest pastors that will go down in history as a really great guy, Joel Osteen. Some love him. And some feel like, well, he's a motivational speaker. I don't play about Joel at all. His book changed my life. Your best life now, whatever it was, I was in the streets. I'm being pretty Willie. I don't know what made me pick up this smiling book, but I did this. And then I got an opportunity to hear a story of being in the background, videotaping his father and, you know, editing the videos and having to sit under that type of tutelage for all of those years. And then, of course, when his father transitioned, of course, he stepped up to the plate and the rest has been history. You know, you've been a servant to so many amazing people, including myself. You serve on a level that nobody can ever question. Like once we put it in your lap, we know it's done and it's going to be done really, really great. But I just believe in my heart that God has given you this story to empower women across the country as well as men. We got to go ahead and finish those books that you start and you stop. We got to grab that consistency and know that the type of responsibility that you've taken for so many other people, like now it's time to take total responsibility for yourself. I invited you here because I count this as a launch pad. This is a pad where people get an opportunity to see behind the pretty face. They get an opportunity to see behind the opportunity, see this beautiful couple that's goals. Everybody sees the glory, but nobody knows the story. Now that I hear it, I just believe by faith, after the book is written, there's movies, there's television, there's film. Just like he made the relationship make sense, he's going to make every part of your journey also make sense. Why you were bridged with Reach Media, why you worked in television, why you've done acquisitions. Like God is sharing me now that I don't know your personal business, but I know that you probably get influencer deals maybe. Like I see a lot of influencer deals, but there are now going to be some other, like once this book is done and, your desire for it's similar to what you did, I guess, calls that you did, but it's like another group that you may be a part of or just dragged in because you hard hit sometimes. But I just know that God is going to elevate you and brand partnerships are going to happen because of the story. I do see some fun television stuff, that you may not necessarily want. And no disrespect to my other audience, but there's a broad audience of white, Black, Hispanic that really need to hear your story. And, get out your own way. It's time. And Emmett know it too. Like you picked the right person. He's just pushy enough and love you enough to make sure that you get to where you need to go. And I'm so grateful and thankful and publicly thank you for doing me and my former wife correctly. Loving us both in one of the toughest seasons of our life. Thank you for not isolating me and not speaking to me. And thank you for not isolating her, understanding that both parties played a part in the demise and not choosing a side, but choosing to love both until we could get to this place now where, she's living a life, I'm living a life. Thank you for always remaining neutral. Your character has always been so stellar to people around the world. And now God's going to start sending little Shardaes, So don't try to flip it and start serving them. They're there to serve you. Like you tell this one go, they're going to go. And it's not being humble. You've been through enough. Here's the thing. There are people on stages who make a lot of money and they make a lot of noise and they are known all across the country. And when you look at those people, you're probably like, man, my vernacular ain't even like that. I had to train myself to be like that. Man, I'm from PC. I'm from DC. Y'all know who my daddy is? It was a dude who walked up to me and he said, man, one day I'm going to be on them stages just like you, bruh. One day, I'm telling you, I'm taking your spot, bruh. And he was just joking. And I had to be very honest with him. I said, nouns and verbs, you got it. But my experience, you can't duplicate. Because if you went through what I went through, you'd be dead by now. Somebody went through what you went through. They might not be here, but you are. So they're not paying you for what you say. They're paying you for what you overcame. They're paying for what you don't look like what you've been through. They're paying for that you didn't lose your mind. They paying because, so all this stuff like, well, I just cut. Nope. Like I'm owed this. I am owed this. God put me through hell so I can set them free. If you want to see the captive set free, pick me. Because he live in me unequivocally. I don't doubt it at all. When I come, he come. Yeah. And I just believe that you have to prepare your heart to know that, it's just time. It's just time. And we'll support you. There's so many people that are just in the wings to support you. I asked you the other day, I said, put me on a text message with Emmett because when God give it to me, I want to be able to give it to both of y'all at 3:00 in the morning because y'all a unit. I said borders and boundaries, but as sure as my name is Willie, I am here to help propel what I know God wants to do in your life. And I didn't even know the whole story. But now that I know the story, I was like, you always right. Because this story got to be around the world. And I'm grateful that you would be so safe to share such intimate parts of your life. And I'm sure the audience was blessed by it as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Family, listen, you know how we do it. When my leg go like this, you already know what it is. I'm in there. But family, here's the thing. I don't know necessarily what you're going through right now, but I do know that everybody's going through something. And we're all in different parts of our life. You know, if I can be honest with you, with a smile on my face, before this interview, I got a call, and my grandma just died like 57 minutes, probably about, an hour and a half. I didn't make no big scene about it. I just took the news and I just said, you know what, God, you're a good God, and I'm gonna go do what I'm called to do. And I'm not saying that to receive sympathy or take anything from the story that we just heard, but I want to let you know that you get no excuse to not do what you're called to do. You have no excuse for not persevering through what God allows. He says, listen, count it all joy when you face trials of many kinds. When you get an opportunity to see a person like Shardae come out on the other side, you get an opportunity to see, like, oh my God, there's always a selected end. And once you go through these different trials so much, you know that he's maturing you, teaching you how to persevere. And so you can be mature in every area of your life. So here's the thing. I don't know what you're going through right now, but I do know that he has a selected end, and it's victory. And if it don't feel like the win right now, like you winning, baby, it's not the end, because he don't never end on a loss. So even today, as I navigate through some very unique feelings, I got to leave here and I got to make sure the family's cool, because of course I'm like the matriarch, I guess, or patriarch, excuse me, of the family. And I'm like, wait a minute, what do I need in this moment? And there was a time when I didn't love myself enough to know that I need to know what I need. You looking at a woman who knew exactly what she needed, and she chose what she needed over what she wanted. Because what I want to do is go save everybody in my family. But I'm mature enough to know that I got to make sure that I put my mask on first before I try to save somebody else. So I want you to learn yourself so much. That's why I do this show. It's not for hits. It's not for likes. It's not to be seen. It's purity of heart. That maybe you'll hear a conversation that can prick your heart and change the trajectory of your life forever. I told God, I said, man, if you give me a platform, I'll make sure that my motives stay pure so you can continuously breathe on it. He's breathing on it. I'm listening. He's sending the right people. And as I continue to learn to love myself more through these conversations, my prayer is that you get the opportunity to love yourself just as much, or even more, because you might be tall and your legs don't swing. Come on, somebody. Because I believe by faith that this conversation is as God showed me, this is a runway to a flight. And it was a very long runway to get here. That's because she's not doing a private plane, baby. She a Boeing 747. All right? Make sure you subscribe and love yourself more. Flat out.
Love you more, love you more, love you more.